It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show. We come to you each and every day, Monday through Fridays. We try to get you on about 10 o'clock. Sundays, we come to you 6 p.m. on the Central Standard Time of things. Our guest tonight will be head basketball coach for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, Coach Byron Smith. Talk about life after the basketball season's interruption, see what's been going on. Last we talked to him, he was in his 45 and up league. We'll see if that's still continuing on. Some baseball news going around the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Concerns from the Power Fives in regards of football season and the cause and effect that it could have. We're going to try and see if we can get some calls in on tonight. 936-333-5256. That would be the number to call. Get a chance to share what you've been doing throughout the corona stages that have been affecting each and every one of us as we once upon a time knew it. Hope you guys have had a productive weekend, creative weekend if you're in ministry. A lot of online opportunities. Fortunately for us, we've been able to have a broadcast since the inception of our ministry in 96. So we were a little bit ahead of the curve on that. But nonetheless, it's an adventurous time throughout the land. A lot of information steadily forming. We'll have some of that to come throughout the show on today. But the ironic and brutal part of life is that it will continue to go on. It's unfortunate, seems cruel, but it is what it is. Athletic director for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, Brian Hicks, decided that it was time to part ways with Alabama A&M's now former baseball coach, Manny Laura. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. 2 seasons, not even 2 full seasons, a season and a third maybe, and he's been relieved of duties. Like to know what drummed that up. But nonetheless, as we mentioned, it's a cruel part of life, but life goes on. In the infamous words of Al Green, but he said, I'll be here if you ever need me. We're going to have Coach Byron Smith come up, find out what's in, what's out, what the projected plans are, and a whole lot more. Don't forget, our dial-in line for tonight's live conversation piece will be 936-333-5256. What we're going to do right now, take us a break. When we come back, we'll try to get Coach Byron Smith lined up for the Prairie View A&M University men's basketball program. You listen to the Mike Prince Show Sunday Night Live. We're going to take us a break, and we will be right back. We'd like to take this time to recognize our sponsors and supporters at the Open Mic Broadcast Network: Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Prairie View Athletic Club, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service. Thank you for your support of our local and regional coverage of student athletics here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Waller ISD has suspended normal operations through April 13th due to COVID-19. The district is providing frequent updates to staff, students, parents, families, and community members. Find details at wisd.fyi/COVID-19 info and its official social media outlet. Waller ISD and the Houston Food Bank are partnering to provide free food to families via community market distributions. Distributions are currently scheduled for March 23rd at 3:30 p.m., March 24th at 3:30 p.m., and March 26th at 1:30 p.m. These will be held at Waller ISD Stadium. For more information, visit wallerisd.net.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work, there's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control of my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live. I know we got a baseball theme playing in the background. Technically, it is baseball season, so we put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play. And speaking of put me in, I'm ready. I wonder what Coach let me, I'm going to ask him, what would I fit in his scheme of things on the floor? We're going to present to some and introduce to others the head basketball coach for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. That's none other than Coach Byron Smith. How you doing this evening, Coach?
I'm doing well, Mike, and yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I guess my question is how you been holding up, brother?
I'm holding up. I'm still about 6'3", so right now I'm holding up, not being held up, which is a blessing. I'm on my own, so some people are having to be held up today with some assistance. So I guess I'm blessed. I'm in a good spot.
Yes, sir. And even if you're held up with assistance, you're still blessed because you're on top of the ground, and the ground ain't on top of you, huh?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, the last time we talked, man, it was an abrupt ending to the basketball season, and things, if you would allow me to use, has kind of been like a crash and burn ever since then, man. That's when you think, okay, what worse can happen? The worst has happened. I know they're calling it a pandemic, epidemic, whatever demic you want to add to this thing, but this thing has spread like wildfire.
It has, Mike, and I think, it's definitely something that's unprecedented. And I think, it's kind of a bit frustrating. You really don't really have any direction. I don't think anybody was really prepared for this. And obviously all the health professionals and the leadership in our country, I think they're doing the best job that they can to try to keep us updated and keep us current. But I just don't think anyone has any answers right now. And that's a frustrating position to be in. So what we have to do is follow the orders that we've gotten and just be still. Try to do as less as you possibly can. The bare necessities, the basic necessities, and going to the store, gas station, so forth and so on. But the rest of the time, we have to follow the instructions and just try to, remain still, patient until further notice.
Right. And I know that you were trying to get some basketball games in with your 45 and older group, but I'm pretty sure they've shut all that down too, huh?
They have. It was a day which will live in infamy. On Thursday, I was in one of my basketball sessions, and then the hierarchy at the gym came in and delivered some devastating news. And they said today will be the last day. The gym will be closed to further notice. So definitely a disappointing day, a day that I knew that could be coming soon, but I dreaded it, and I was hoping that it would be not come so quickly. But nonetheless, it has. So now I'm just at Memorial Park twice a day, every day, and dreaming of the chance when I can get back on the basketball court.
Well, I guess the key question about that was your jumper on that day, that the last time you was in the gym?
You know what, Mike? Yes, it was, which made the news even more disappointing because I was playing really good basketball. I was in a rhythm. I felt like James Brown that day. I felt good.
Uh-oh.
And that's a blast from the past, something I'm sure you can identify with, the Godfather of Soul.
Yes, sir.
But I felt good. And, I was definitely looking, to continue, my stellar play. But again, it was shut down, closed down until further notice. So disappointing, but hey, I'm trying to make the best of a tough situation right now, Mike.
I do understand. It's more right now of a mental grind than anything. And I know that you've been a big advocate of the mental well-being of student athletes across the country. Have you been concerned about the cause and effect on some of your players, seniors in particular, the guys that are underclassmen got an opportunity to come back, because whenever the order is restored, at least they have that. It's been officially, I guess, somewhat said, well, hey, for basketball, there's nothing we can do. They were in the postseason play, and they're going to try to work something out for spring sports. But is that something of concern for you right now?
It's the biggest concern. I'm fine. But it's the biggest concern for my outgoing seniors because obviously the season was cut short, and I do think we were getting ready to make another, I won't say a magical run, but I think an expected run. I do think we were going to be tournament champions. I felt that we'd get an NCAA tournament and be able to make some more noise than we did last year because we had a bit more experience and just thought we were playing better as a unit. But now there's so many unknowns. Right now, this is evaluation time. The seniors, all of our seniors, have aspirations still to play basketball after Prairie View, but all that's been shut down right now. There's no evaluations going on in college basketball in terms of recruiting as far as the professional level. They can't go to any combines, any workouts, any tryouts, anything like that. So it's just a very difficult time right now, and I'm definitely worried about them. Obviously, finishing up academically as well, Mike. I think a lot of people feel that, going to the online system, which most of the colleges and universities around the country have had to go to, that can be a positive, but that also can be a bit of a negative because some of our student athletes, I think they do better when they're on campus in a classroom setting, with assistance from the professors and some questions that need to be answered, so in our academic people, but that's been taken away. So I'm worried not only academically, but obviously professionally as well for the well-being of our seniors that are outgoing. Because we got a fantastic group of young men. We're going to definitely miss them. I hate that it was cut short, but I definitely think we've got 2 to 3 to 4 possibly that do have a chance to move on and play beyond Prairie View. And how they're going to come about getting those opportunities is anyone's guess. So I have a lot of concern for all of our student athletes, not just in men's basketball, but all of the student athletes that are at Prairie View, all of the student athletes that are at these wonderful institutions all around the country.
Absolutely. We're speaking right now with Coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, talking, I guess, I can't say post-corona because it's in effect right now, but pre-shortened or just cut off right at the kneecaps the basketball season. Had the fortunes of having Coach Sean Woods on yesterday with the Carlos Brown show, and they gave me a hard time, Coach, but I had to defend the honor of thy purple and gold, and playing the woulda, coulda, shoulda games. So they you knew you had an X on your back, but when you have the confidence to know that you put in the hard work and it's like come one, come all, we're not backing down. It was predestined that it was perhaps Southern and Prairie View to meet in the championship game of the SWAC, providing that both teams are taking care of business. And I don't like to play the woulda, coulda, shoulda games. But what you think would have been the outcome, Coach?
Well, Mike, I will tell you that it was another great season for the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, and obviously back-to-back, SWAC champions. But I always ask this question that I always make a statement. No one remember who finished second. So with all confidence, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Sean Woods and Roman Banks and Ryan Price, a former colleague of mine. But I think that Vegas and Mike Prince and all the experts of the game that are involved in the game pretty much know the outcome, that Prairie View was going to be champions again, and then we have two X's on our chest and on our back going into the 2020-21 season, which we will anyway.
Absolutely. Carlos Brown, I hope you listening, my friend. Now, look, Coach, I know you got some key pieces that'll be missing to return whenever action does return. And I know recruiting has been slowed down, but just in a short view of your projections, what are you going to see some keys for you to keep the ship sailing?
Mike, obviously recruiting is the lifeline of every program. That's at every sport, at the collegiate level, even at the professional level, and free agency is the term that they use at that level. So we have to continue to recruit the best possible student athletes that we possibly can. And Mike, I'm not going to say surprisingly, but it seems like every year at this time, even with the restrictions that we're facing right now in terms of recruiting, in terms of evaluations, being able to get out and see kids and touch them, I think our recruiting class this year may be the strongest that we've ever had for the 2020-21 season. I've got the best staff in the country. These guys are relentless recruiters. They're constantly in contact with players near and far. And I think with the success that we've had over the last couple of years, we don't have to sell Prairie View A&M very much. And obviously, once we get a kid on campus and they see the wonderful institution that we have in the facilities and the great family environment that we have, it's pretty hard to say no to us. So obviously losing Devontae Patterson and Gerard Andrews, Antoine Lister, Chancellor Ellis, Darius Williams, those would be hard young men to replace. But Dennis Jones was hard to replace. Gary Blackson was hard to replace. But I think we did an adequate job in doing that. And I think that, and obviously Leon Sneed with that group too. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Leon, the outgoing senior. But I do think that we've got a tremendous recruiting class coming in that we feel like we have coming in. We obviously we can't get anyone signed to an official document or a national letter of intent, but we do have some soft verbal commitments that Coach, hey, when all this stuff does pass, we still, want to be Panthers. So we're really excited about who we're bringing in and what we're bringing in. I think we're going to be right back there chasing another championship if the good Lord says the same in 2020 and 21.
Now, Coach, we know that there has been a ton of money not made with this pandemic that has hit. And there are a lot of speculation from the Power Fives and the mid-majors about whenever action does resume, it's going to change the entire dynamics of how we do things globally, but in particular when it comes to collegiate athletics. As far as traveling and playing games so far out, have you started working on some possible more regional games for the next season, or is that something that you're still kind of waiting and seeing on?
Well, Mike, that's always my focus and my point of emphasis in scheduling is to try to be as close to the area as close to the institution as we possibly can, and playing quality opponents that, and I look at, geographics obviously play a big part in it. The finances obviously have to play a big part in it because you have guarantees, you have commitments you have to meet. and obviously the exposure piece. You wanted to try to play some institutions that have TV exposure for our young men, because that's what we're selling. That you're coming to Prairie View. We don't have a TV contract. Our conference does it, but yet and still we're going to go out and we're going to play other programs that are going to get national coverage: ESPN, Pac-12 networks, ACC networks, Longhorn networks, so forth and so on, SEC networks. So we definitely try to schedule regional games so our fans, our family, institution, administration can kind of come out and support us, not only on campus but off campus, as long as it's not too far. So we've done that. We've reached out to some programs. A few programs have reached out to us about trying to schedule. So I think we're going to put together a very competitive schedule, one that we feel will give us a chance to go out and be better than just competitive and win some of these, guaranteed games and kind of get over the hump, which we've been very close. We've come up a little bit short in the last couple of years. So to answer your question, yeah, we're trying to make it cost effective and not have to travel so far away for the bulk of our non-conference schedule. And I think we're heading down the right path at putting together something that everyone will be pleased with and excited about.
All right, we're speaking with Coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. Coach, back-to-back champions, Coach of the Year, boasting the Player of the Year in Patterson. When you look at this thing, and we know that the proverbial hump is getting past the first round, to advance to the group of 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4. What do you see is some of the creative obstacles for a Southwestern Athletic Conference, a MEAC, or even a Southland program to advance that far in basketball?
Well, Mike, I think when you play a long 30-plus game schedule, and you finish up your conference tournament on a Saturday, and you're faced with the daunting task of traveling back home, finding out your assignment, and then turning around 24 hours later, jumping on an airplane, flying 2.5, 3 to 4 hours to play a game on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I think that makes a huge difference. I really personally feel, had we got the second play-in game the second night on the Wednesday of last year instead of the Tuesday, I thought that would have made all the world of difference. Even though we played very, very well against Fairleigh Dickinson, a lot of people were disappointed and shocked that we didn't close them out. We kind of left, we didn't get the job done. We didn't finish the way that we needed to. But I still think that extra 24 hours of rest or 48 hours of rest makes a huge difference when you're down to the end of your schedule, a grueling schedule, I might add. So I think just timing. If we were able to start on Thursday or the Friday as the other, 64 teams, or 64 teams, 65 teams start, I think that would, give us an opportunity to be a little bit, not only competitive, but have a chance to get past that first round. And like you said, the good thing about it, Mike, once you get into the NCAA tournament, you're on a neutral court. Records don't matter. Conference affiliations don't matter. How many 4-star, 5-star guys don't matter. It's you against that particular team on that particular day for 40 minutes. And the best team, the team that plays the best on that day, normally wins. So, but that's one of the biggest obstacles. I think the turnaround is so quickly for those play-in games, and I think that can really affect the team in terms of preparation, because there's so much you have to do in a short amount of time. And I definitely think that affected us last year. Not making any excuses. We had our chances. We should have finished, but we didn't. But I think if all things are fair and everyone can start around the same time, I think you will see some of these teams in the MEAC and the SWAC having better results in that first round and maybe moving on past the second round and making real history, which was our goal this year. Mike, I'm going to be honest, it was my goal for the program is not just to win the conference, not just to win the tournament, but get in the big dance and do something that's been unprecedented, and moving past the play-in game and even moving past that first round, no matter who it may be. Gonzaga, UCLA, Kansas, Duke, no matter who it may be. Stephen F. Austin shocked the world this year, going in and beating Duke. And I think Prairie View is primed to do something similar to that real soon. We're right there on the cusp of doing something special. And I really felt that this year was going to be the year that we were going to make some history that's never been seen before, never been done before, that's been unprecedented in black college sports. So a little disappointed on that end, but hey, guess what, Mike? We're gonna rally the troops. We're gonna get back together whenever we can, and we're gonna shoot for that goal of getting past those first two rounds in the NCAA tournament.
Speaking with Coach Byron Smith, an energetic Coach Byron Smith, about Prairie View A&M University men's basketball program and the success that they've had under his tutelage. Now, part of the challenge is that play-in game, and it's been linked back to strength of the schedule for the conference. And we know the new commissioner has been, not forcing the issue, but strongly recommending that we start revisiting some of our non-conference opponents. And with that being said, is that somewhat of a smoke signal or the handwriting on the wall that in the very near future you might not see some of the Houston Tillisons, the Jarvis Christians on a Prairie View basketball schedule in order to possibly get a 13th or 14th seed when it comes to basketball tournament play?
Mike, once again, it all depends on, what makes sense and what's going to give us the best chance to move the program forward and be successful. And obviously, we have to trust our leadership and our conference office, Dr. McClellan, and obviously he's a member of the NCAA selection committee. So whatever information that he gets, that they tell him, they share with him, and he brings back to us, then we're going to do that. If that means that we have to, look at our schedule, look at scheduling, and do some things differently to give us a fighting chance to be in there with the big boys, if you will. We think we're big boys too, by the way, but it's just no cliche to be in there with the big boys. We're going to do just that. But I don't want to omit anyone. I mean, I feel like Houston Tillisons and the Jarvis Christians. I mean, those young men have a dream. Those young men grew up as 6 and 7 year olds, just like I did, just like you did, with a dream to be collegiate athletes, a dream to be professional athletes. So, why not give them an opportunity, to go out and try to compete at the level? And all these young men seem to have a chip on their shoulder, they have something to prove. So I don't ever want to be in a situation, because we're all part of of college basketball, college sports, and they're all student athletes. So I think that we're all the same. I think it's too much emphasis placed on levels and things like that. But anyway, again, to answer your question, I don't want to be that way in terms of scheduling. I want to play, whoever wants to play us, it gives us the best chance to get better and improve, and we have a chance to be successful against and go out and play this great game. But if it makes sense to look at a little bit of a different path and a little bit of a different, like I say, path, yeah, exactly, then we need to do that. We have to do that to give us a chance to put our program in position to get the national respect, keep the national respect. I think we have national respect, that we've attained that, but to keep the national respect, being one of the better mid-major programs in the country. So, and the way that you do that is you get into play in March, and you get past that first play-in game, and which is what we're talking about right now and moving forward. So, but again, I trust the leadership. I trust Dr. McClellan, that he's going to get all the information, all the facts. He's going to present it to us, and we're going to make the best decision that's going to give us the best chance of being successful nationally.
All right. Now, with that being said, Coach, when, as they say, you compare the apples to apples and the dust begins to settle, and you've had some early downtime, what have you learned about yourself and your program since you had some extra time to think since this virus has hit us all?
Well, Mike, I mean, I think the people that are the truly great ones, they continue to, strive for excellence. And, I do a lot of self-analysis, spend a lot of time by myself, and I revisit some situations and some things that I could have done better. And, obviously, we can always improve. I think my player-coach relationship has gotten a lot better. I'm still very aggressive. I think I'm still very fiery, but I think I've been able to smile a little bit more, pat a little bit more on the back, give a few more hugs to my players this year, and I think I need to continue to do that. But I've also, come to realize too that the loudest voice in the gym is the bench, Mike. I don't know if you realize that or not. I yell and scream a lot and raise a lot of cane, but I've slowly but surely coming to realize that the bench is a lot more impactful than my voice. So, what we do is we make these guys understand, if you don't do everything that you need to do, and you don't do it the way that we feel, and the biggest thing is if we don't trust that you're going to be able to go out and do the things that we need for you to do to give Prairie View A&M the best chance of being successful, then you have to sit and think about it a little bit. But each and every year, obviously I'm trying to improve as a coach, as well as I'm trying to help my players improve. And again, Mike, we have a philosophy that we go by, and it's been this way since I've been the head coach at Prairie University. I tell these kids all the time, we feel like we're good enough coaches to help you guys become better players, but by allowing us to coach you, you help us become better coaches as well. So it's a joint effort. It's a win-win situation. It's not any arrogance on our side that we got all the answers and you better listen to us. You help us become better coaches, we help you become better players, and it works that way. And I think our guys understand that, and we want to continue that as we continue to, strengthen our culture to where we can be a perennial, number 1 or 2 team in the league each and every year. And once again, make history and get in that tournament and really have a great showing and get past those first 1 or 2 rounds. And man, what a great day that's going to be when that finally does happen. And I think it's right around the corner, Mike. I really do.
Well, I believe it's very close as well, Coach. And my final question for you this evening, Coach, what have you been doing, man, to keep your mind stayed focused?
Well, I've been praying a lot. Obviously, I think you and I both, we serve an awesome God. So I've been praying a lot. I've been entertaining my girlfriend, the love of my life, Sabrina Cito. She's been right there by my side. A new addition to Team Smith. So she's been very, very good at kind of keeping me focused and keeping me poised. Been going out to Memorial Park a lot, as I told you. Been exercising and running my 3 miles, and just dreaming of a day when I can get back in the gym. I obviously been watching what I've been eating, obviously, because when you're not as active and playing as much, you can kind of get, when you get to be our age, Mike, you can kind of get that little bit of a pot belly. And I've been doing some touch-ups at my home, my house, which I need to do that. And, I need to get some of the plastic off the couch. You know how black folks are back in the day. You got that plastic on the couch. You don't want somebody to mess it up. So I finally got the courage to take the plastic off the couch a little bit. And, Mike, just whatever. If you got any suggestions for things for me to do, I don't golf. I don't play much tennis. I'm not really much of a movie theater buff, but just trying to find some new things to be able to do, But the main constant thing is I've obviously been, been in prayer, been reading my Bible. At times reading my Bible, got some scriptures on my phone and things like that, and just been working out a lot. And just we've been recruiting still. Obviously, we have to continue to do that. Talk to players and talk to them about. There's going to come a time where we are going to be able to get with you face to face and get you on campus and show you some of the wonderful things that we have to offer. And so that right now, that's pretty much what's going on until we get this ban lifted and we can get out and start doing some things, out in society and get back in gyms and things like that when they reopen. So right now it's been a bit of a slow grind, as I said initially, but still thankful to be healthy and to be safe, and just looking forward to great things in the future in 2020 moving forward.
Well, my friend, I think you got a lot. Just add reading some more books on there, and I think you'll have a well-rounded schedule, my friend. Look, I want to thank you so much for making yourself available, man. We truly, truly appreciate you. And if the creek don't rise and Lord say the same, we'll check in on you next week, all right?
Sounds good, Mike. I look forward to it. Appreciate you always.
All right, my friend. You have a great evening and the rest of your weekend. And that was Coach Byron Smith with the Prairie View A&M University Panthers. He's going to have to learn how to be himself again. We're going to take us a break, and when we come back, we'll have more of the Mike Prince Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network live on Sunday night.
Have sports, will travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics.
We'd like to recognize sponsors.
Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street in Hempstead, Texas. Their phone number is 979-826-8008. Diva Skin Conditioner, located at divafeet.com, D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Their phone number, 903-270-0026. Prairie View Athletic Club, serving student athletes since 1986. Their phone number is 936-857-5817. Temple of Refuge Ministries, located in Prairie View, Texas, at 45372 Old Highway 290. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, several locations to serve you: Katy, Rosenberg, Brenham, Bryan, College Station, and Waller, Texas. Their phone numbers, toll free, 855-391-2149. If you or your business would like to be a part of the sponsorship team here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, contact us at 832-213-8824.
Be the one with courage to fight child abuse.
All Texans must find the courage to fight child abuse.
Learn the signs and symptoms and report suspected abuse to appropriate authorities.
Learn and know these warning signs.
A child who undergoes changes in behavior, appetite, or routine.
Watch for unexplained injuries, a change in academic performance, or loss of interest by a child in regular activities.
Trust your instincts. If you suspect something, do something.
If you believe a child is in an abusive situation, please call the Texas Abuse Hotline at 1-800-252-5400.
Be the one with courage. To find your local Children's Advocacy Center, visit onewithcourage.org.
On behalf of children, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Want to thank our guest, Coach Byron Smith, full of energy and full of gusto, if you would. It's always good to catch up with Coach and get some feedback on some things. It's tough on everybody right now, and it's just one of those situations to where you got to wait it out, hold it out, and see what the end is going to be. And at the top of the show, we talked about some moves that were made by Alabama A&M. They pulled the trigger, pulled the plug, 86 the project on former baseball coach Manny Laura. Now, Brian Hicks is the athletic director, and I believe he got there 2012. And the irony of all of this is that Laura is an alumnus of Alabama A&M, and technically speaking, he only got like a year and a third under his belt. In his tenure, had 19 wins, 49 losses, which came to about a 27.9% winning percentage, but we'll round it up to 28. And he had an struggle in his first year, 16-35. He was 3-14 this year, but 3-3 in conference play when the season was dismantled. And you wonder, I mean, was there something said? But what, I can't even call it a reaction, but what an event to have that happen. And it goes to show that this is a business. Athletics is a business. That's where we've come in 2020. And just like any business, they expect a positive return on their investments. Now, not understanding the full circumstances, I'm in Prairie, Texas. I'm not in Huntsville, Alabama. But I don't know if something was said that may have been taken to heart, or they said we're going to cut our ties while we can, and whenever we do pick up, we're going to put together some of these pieces. Makes you wonder, is that something that you look for in your administrative team in such a time as this? Is that too calculus and cold? Is there ever really a bad time to relieve someone of their duties? I don't think there is, because there are a lot of things that are involved. You have families involved, how they're going to provide. But that's part of the casualties of the business of athletics. And part of the reason why they're paid what they're paid, if you can negotiate a good payday and there's a balance to hit that, is it can go at the drop of a dime. There's no good time to say we are no longer needing your services. We're going to move forward and see you when I see you. But especially with a pandemic going on that we have right now, a lot of uncertainties, and people are really, really needing their income. And then on the flip side, do you continue to hold on to something that you know is not going anywhere? It's like being in a bad relationship. I'm only here for the kids. Then everybody's miserable. You're not happy. I'm not happy. The kids see we're not happy. What are we doing? It's going to be interesting to see who replaces Laura. There are a couple of speculations going out. I believe Black College 9 had a report on some names that could be the replacement. But it's very, very interesting times. And since we're talking about the interesting times, now the Power Fives are having deep concerns. See, they weren't concerned too much about canceling baseball. They weren't concerned about canceling softball, track and field. There were some concerns about canceling basketball, but the NCAA had to cancel basketball because of what the NBA had done. But now that this thing is being projected to be coming out possibly late as May, early June, July even. Oh my, what are we going to do? How are we going to fix and rectify the football deal? Football is the king of kings. It's our cash cow of cash cows. What are we going to do? How are we going to make it happen? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Makes you truly, truly wonder. The dynamics and the economics of football, or let me just say collegiate athletics, is changed. It's changed. Absolutely changed. And we're going to talk about how much it's changed when I come back. I got to take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll finish this up. We're listening to the Mike Prince Show live. We only got a few moments left. Hang in there with me, and we'll continue our conversation. Keep it where you got it. We'll be right back.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Hello, this is Lonzo Hardy Jr., President of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded on December 10, 1999 at the Sheraton Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. Its mission is to serve as a rallying ground for individuals who have made the Southwestern Athletic Conference the illustrious conference that it is today. Its membership is open to former student athletes who have played in the conference in any sport, as well as to coaches, athletic administrators, staff members, game officials, and fans. Annually, the association holds a Legends Awards and Roast Banquet or Luncheon, where it honors individuals with Lifetime Achievement Awards, a Chuck Crossett Wagon Master Award, and occasionally a Distinguished Service Award. Proceeds from that event help to finance degree completion scholarships for student athletes who have exhausted their playing eligibility at SWAC universities, but who may still need an extra semester or two to complete their college studies. For more information on the SWAC Alumni Association or to get information on becoming a member, you can send correspondence to SWAC Alumni Association, 875 Miller Creek Lane, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. The email address is SWACalumniassociation@yahoo.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show Live. We got us a few moments left, and we were talking about the impact of football. Guys, big boys are getting worried right now. They're talking about, man, what are we going to do? Because you know our revenue, if the folk don't come, we got bills to pay and this, that, and the other. And it made me think about, and I got a young man on the line with us right now, who's a breath of fresh air, makes an old man feel young again, and help him kick around and keep his brain cells flowing. And I'll present to some and introduce to others BJ. I almost called you BJ Anderson, old baseball player, man. BJ Jones, how you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, Mike, man. I can't complain.
You can't, well, you better not complain, boy. You're a young man. You got a lot to live for. So look, I'm glad we were able to, as they say, kick this can around a little bit. The impact is coming to fruition on football now with this virus. And first and foremost, are you okay and your family okay?
Yeah, man. Everybody is A-okay right now, man. I actually had a uncle who actually test positive on Tuesday, but he's fine. Outside of, he said, feeling like a prisoner, he's fine. He's had no symptoms outside of a runny nose, so everything looks up and up there. But you know, outside of the social distancing and having to keep away from people, man, it's been kind of odd, man. It's been an odd time.
I could imagine, man. I can imagine. Well, our thoughts and prayers are definitely with him. And, I'll talk to you off the air about some other stuff, but, we keeping them lifted up, man, keeping them lifted up. And speaking of keeping lifted up, a lot of people are saying, man, I don't know what we're going to do. How are we going to have our shows? What are we going to talk about? There's still plenty of sports activities going on. Coaches are getting fired. Coaches are getting hired. And there's still a lot of moving. And personally, I think if you're going to make some moves, now would be the time to make those moves from the administrative part. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Oh, man, I agree. Man. This is the best time to do that. You see a lot of people doing it on the hardwood side, really making moves, right now. So, yeah, I think this is the best time.
Well, Alabama A&M just relieved the duties of their baseball coach, Manny Laura, and I can only imagine, because you're not even 2 full years in, there must have been something that was inappropriately said or something for them to pull the trigger like that, man. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, though.
Well, from what I know from the A&M camp, a lot of them weren't happy with that hire and happy with the direction of the program was going. And I think that a lot of Bulldogs anticipated that this may be his final year on the Hill. But with this virus and everything, looks like it may have been cut short. I guess it went ahead and pulled the trigger. And I guess their frame of thinking was, if you're not going to be the man next year, then why keep you right now? Why drag on on throughout the season that we may or may not have?
No doubt about it. And, I think a lot of people are empathetic because what we're dealing with as a nation right now. And it's kind of the casualties of war when you're dealing in the business of athletics, because this is a business, whether it's a large revenue, no revenue, partial revenue. We expect results when we bring you on to the team for wins, not losses.
Oh yes, man, absolutely. I think that's one of the things about it, man. This sports business, it keeps moseying on along, no matter what happens. And the thing about it is, like you said, the business is in the wins and the losses, because we know those wins and the losses have an impact on those writing checks and how hard they clutch their pocketbooks or not. Anytime that there's something that happens in this nation. We can go back to 2008, it doesn't matter. People will hold on to their pocketbooks if they feel like, maybe we don't have the guy that's getting things done. No matter what's going on in the nation's economy, people still spend money when it comes down to sports. And they are more hesitant to spend that money if things aren't going a certain direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're talking with B.J. Jones, football analyst here with the network, doing a lot of great work. And I know we're in the off season of football. Spring practices have been terminated. The fall is in a questionable dangle right now. If I was in a football cliche, I'd be punting right now to try to get the best position of getting that to start off. But with the projections of everything, we're looking late May, early June, possibly July. And then when the clearance is there, how many people are going to come out in full confidence and effect that, okay, let's pick up where we left off from?
Man, this is challenging. If you would have asked me maybe a week ago, a week and a half ago, if you said, hey, BJ, do you think we'll have, football season? I'm like, yeah, we'll have football season. But now, man, it looks like I'm kind of iffy on it. And even if we do have a football season, you have to look at it from this standpoint. No spring practice. That's going to impact conditioning. Look at places where you have new head coaches, new coordinators, new position coaches. That's going to affect some evaluating because they're not able to evaluate the kids in person. They're going to have to go strictly based on film. This is really, really going to set some programs behind the eight ball. And when you look at who's going to have the advantage, the teams with coaching staffs intact and bringing back a lot of players are going to have the advantage of teams who are going to be breaking in new starters and breaking in new coaches.
Yes, no doubt about it. And speaking of breaking in, we know the big news for the conclusion of the football season. North Carolina A&T announces that they're leaving the MEAC, heading to the Big South, and a lot of people are up in arms. And I have to be very candid and honest with you, BJ. It was like once that announcement was made, I said, okay, then do what you're going to do. But for me personally, it knocked out maybe 50% of my interest of the game that they have scheduled to play against North Dakota State. I don't know about anyone else because to me the game is going to have a different significance right now.
I can see that. I mean, I'm still interested in that ball game because I think they will be having that title of a MEAC school when they go up there, and it's going to be interesting to see what North Carolina A&T is able to do against a program like North Dakota State, who has been the flag bearer of FCS football almost for a decade now. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that game plays out. And also, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how scheduling in the future plays out for North Carolina A&T.
Yeah, and I hate to sound like this, but if I'm a MEAC representative, I don't even know if I want to play them. That's just me.
No, and you're not the only person that thinks that. I know that they are working on a deal to continue to play North Carolina Central in all sports. I know that both athletic directors were talking about that, and I think that they are trying to get that thing all bowled up. So I know that they'll definitely still be playing North Carolina Central. Not sure about the other schools in the MEAC, but I know that Central definitely wanted to keep North Carolina A&T on the board for all sports. And if you're the other MEAC teams, I'm not sure what side of the pail that they'll fall on. But it's going to be interesting to see just what type of relationships that North Carolina A&T has salvaged, and which ones have gotten the dose of gasoline. So we'll see that here very shortly in scheduling in all sports.
No doubt about it. And you're still, there's still some bitterness toward Hampton. And, and what was so ironic about this, North Carolina A&T were one of the more vocal institutions about Hampton's departure, and now they've joined forces with them.
Yes. I mean, if you go back and you look to that move 2 years ago when Hampton decided that they would leave the MEAC and go to the Big South, and when you start searching social media, you start searching the fan boards and the message boards, the people who had the largest criticism, the big criticism for Hampton were people from that North Carolina A&T camp. And Lord and behold, 2 years later, they're in the same boat.
Yeah.
So, you got to be real careful, man. Like I said, what the young people say, hey, life comes at you quick, comes at you fast.
Yes, sir.
But it's going to be very, very interesting to see how those people talk now as opposed to how they talked 2 years ago.
Right. I'm speaking right now with B.J. Jones, football analyst with the Open Mic Broadcast Network, does a lot of featured guest appearance. And matter of fact, man, you just spill off everything you're connected to.
Oh, man. So, man, I get ready to start a new show here in the Open Mic Network. It's a barbershop with B.J. Jones. I call it the Realest, Truest. Sports and guy talk. You guys want to really, really like it, and I'd like to thank Dr. Mike Prince for helping me get that started. And if you like Dr. Mike Prince, you're going to like the show because his fingertips, his hands is going. It's going to be on the show. I trust the good doctor a lot. You can also find me on the Carlos Brown Show, especially during the fall on the Open Mic Network. I'm also a contributor for HBCU Game Day. Still have it going on. We did do a little off-season bit earlier this week that I posted on social media. So that's coming along. So that's those are different ways that I'm connected with different avenues across the HBCU landscape.
Well, man, you're doing a fantastic job. And I'm like you, BJ. My concern is that when the fall arrives, that we are allowed to watch that pigskin float up and down in the air. If I were a gambling man right now, I'm going to say there's about a 40% chance that we'll have football in the fall.
Right now, yeah, I got a little bit better. I got it maybe 50-50. Okay. 50-50. But I will say this. If you think football was sloppy before, we always talk about how sloppy those first 3 weeks are.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first half of the season will be extremely sloppy because if you're an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, the only way for you to work on your craft is to get that live contact, to do it live. Conditioning will suffer. Coaches, the new coaches, places like Southern, Benedict, different places are bringing in new head coaches, new coordinators. You're going to struggle. You don't have that spring period. I don't know if the NCAA has decided if we do have football, do they extend the camp period? That's something that's going to be critical. So football is going to be very, very sloppy if we're fortunate enough to get it this season.
Well, I'll tell you something else that's an underlying story to pay attention to is injuries. You already have a physical game with guys in shape. And when a guy is not out of shape, some of the most prevalent things to pop up are the injuries. And so I'm very, very concerned about that. But if it's sloppy or not, I bet you we'll be there to watch them.
Man, we'll be there. We will be there.
Oh, man. Well, look, BJ, man, I want to thank you so much for joining in with us on tonight. Let the people know how they can reach you on your social media status, man.
Man, you can reach me at Twitter at Inside HBCU Football. Also, Facebook, BJ Jones. Also, the Inside HBCU football page on Facebook as well.
All right, my man. Thank you so much. Keep taking care of yourself and your family, man. And we're going to be praying for your loved ones. And we'll be talking to you real soon. All right, my man?
All right, man. Looking forward to it, man. Thank you, Mike.
All right. The barbershop himself, B.J. Jones, going to be exclusively here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our time has just about run out for this week. We want to thank our special guest, Coach Byron Smith of the Prairie View A&M University Panthers, B.J. Jones. He's just the master of all when it comes to collegiate football. Bright young man, and glad to be affiliated and associated with him. Want to thank our sponsors on tonight. Want to thank you guys, the listeners. Stay safe. Remember, follow instructions. There's no time to be a hero, no time to show how much you love the Lord. Trust the Lord in everything that you do, but also learn obedience is greater than a sacrifice. I am going to make my exit towards stage left for right now. My time is far spent. Lord say the same, and the creek don't rise. We will see you on Monday morning at 10 a.m. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.